Hello, Dodger fans. Welcome back to another edition of Dodgers Wrap 360. Dodgers bats came alive on the road this week. We hope it continues in a huge homestand coming up at the Ravine. We'll talk all about it tonight on Dodgers Wrap 360 by AfterBuzz TV.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh, yeah. Here's it's coming. Yeah. Little Jolene by Dolly Parton in honor of your moms.
Yes, I just bought her tickets to see Dolly Parton at the Hollywood Bowl for Mother's Day.
Good son. What a good son.
So one of her favorite performers.
That's awesome. I mean, aside from her son, she's obviously tuning in here on Dodgers Wrap 360. So,
of course.
I mean, clearly it's not a Sunday show at the Hollywood Bowl. But happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Hope you tuned in here for a little Dodgers baseball talk. Dodgers, pretty good road trip this week. A winning road trip. You can't snuff your nose up at that. 3-2 trip. Seems like the bats are showing up a little bit.
Hopefully they're here to stay. But, you know, as Kirsch was talking the other day in his post game, it's like, okay, we're kind of a 500 team. Or what are we now? One game over 500 One game over 500, yeah. 16 and 15, I believe.
You're right.
Yeah.
But still in the mix in that NL West. And, you know, he was saying, like, we just haven't seemed to be getting all those facets, you know, going at the same time. Hitting, pitching, relief pitching, you know, basically those facets. But today they look pretty decent. Today they brought home a win, 4-2. Over those hated Jays, or at least they hated in my book. And we were able to take 2 out of 3 in Toronto. That's pretty good, out of a split in Tampa. So, you know, you got to take a 3-2 road trip. You're going through interleague play in the tough black and blue AL East. And, you know, it's nice.
It was nice. I mean, and they had actually a good opportunity to win that other Tampa Bay game, which they kind of blew. Unfortunately, that was the first bad outing Blanton's had. I hope I did not jinx him.
Yes.
last week.
He gave up that bomb to who? Oh, I thought that was in the. Did he blow 2 this week? Because he gave up that bomb the other night to Pala. The 3-run bomb to make it 5-2 on Friday night.
Oh, yeah, it was Friday night then. Yeah,
Friday night.
Oh,
so
no, Baez blew the game in Tampa. That's what it was. Baez blew that game. Sorry.
Baez still in the circle of trust, it seems, though. Him and Blanton are in the circle of trust.
And Hatcher. Hatcher came in today.
Hatcher
and still
pitched a good 7th today, right?
Well, he still put 3 people on base in his 1 inning of work. Just no one came around to score. That's, to me, I think I said it before, whip to me with relief pitchers means everything. Because if they're putting guys on base, at some point it will average out that those guys come home to score.
Oh, yeah. It's whip and inherited runners allowed to score.
Yeah.
Those are the big things for the relievers. But, you know, all in all, a pretty sound week for the bullpen. You know, blow-ups here and there. But from what we've been used to, still kind of, you know, trending in the right direction. What's good to see is the bats coming around because, you know, Agon, you know, was in a 0 for 20 slump when we had this show last week. And he jumped out of that with 2 hits right away in their first game in Tampa.
A few RBIs. I think, 3 RBIs in that game?
That was nice. Did he have RBIs in that game? Yeah, okay.
I believe so, yeah.
But he didn't hit a homer until the following game, right? Was that it?
Yeah, and Justin Turner finally got off the...
Justin Turner off the home run slide.
Off the home run slide.
We got Howie Kendrick hitting now.
Today he had the big hit today.
Yeah, huge hit today to knock in the go-ahead run. And in that game, that first game on the road trip, that first Rays game where they exploded for 10 runs on 13 hits, he had a four-hit day on that day.
So it looks like he's hopefully coming out of it a little bit.
You would hope so. I mean, and like that was, especially after that dreadful homestand, excuse me, a 1-6 homestand where they combined for 12 runs over the 7 games. It was nice to see them explode in their first game on the road for 10 runs on 13 hits.
Yeah.
So that was good to see. So you hope that's a step in the right direction. And a decent game pitched by Kazmir in that one. Going back. Yeah.
He did.
So that's good to see.
This to me was Maeda's worst outing. He only gave up the 2 runs, but he had 4 walks and I believe 6 hits in that game. He didn't get the loss.
Maeda?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but I
We're
think-
fast forwarding this week. So he was what was that the second Toronto game? Right?
Yeah. No,
Saturday.
first
game?
it was the first game. It was the Friday game.
Okay.
That was to me that was his worst outing this year. He didn't pitch bad.
He didn't
wasn't,
pitch bad.
It just wasn't. He was walking a lot. Walked 4 walks. That's, he hasn't really been putting guys on. So
Yeah, but it was still like 6 innings of 2-run balls. So
Yeah.
that's still what they call a
quality
quality
start.
start in the business. And they really should knock it down to 6 innings and 2 runs as opposed to 6 and 3, or really even 7 and 2, or equate 7 and 2 as a different style, like an ultra quality style. But I think we've talked about that before. But my 8 is obviously giving him a chance every time out.
Oh yeah.
And that's great to see, and the fact that we talked about last week, maybe Kazmir and Wood kind of turning a corner with like respective mechanic stuff. And I know Wood's line wasn't that good this week, but he actually did not pitch bad. If you watch that game, he just had.
He just a couple pitches hung. That was really what it was. His placement wasn't bad. You're right. His placement wasn't bad at all this week.
Well, it was on like 3 pitches,
Yeah,
and they just all got homed.
I think the ball just didn't move on those particular pitches, and he just got whacked around. But
Yeah.
Kazmir did pitch a really good game this week. I thought this was the best, aside from the opening Padres series of the season.
Right.
This is the best he's pitched.
No question, and it's good to see. And that was his 100th career win.
Yeah.
So maybe he had a little bit of his going up against his former team. He had his best stuff going. And I think 6 2/3, that's his longest outing in the season, I believe.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. So, and that was good. And he had 9 Ks and 1 walk. So
Yeah.
that's always good to see. They did scatter around 7 hits and 4 runs, but he does look good. So, I think, it's good for Kazmir to come around because they're not going to pull him anytime quickly.
No.
So
No, Wood's at the back end. Wood and Stripling are the ones who are on the
short leash.
short leash.
Yeah. For when you hear those footsteps coming up.
Yeah.
The footsteps we thought might be like, Ryu, but he just got transferred to the 60-day DL, so he's going to be out a lot longer.
But McCarthy still looks like he's set to come back. And Bolsinger pitched in AAA today. Not a good outing in AAA. I believe he gave up 3 runs in 3 innings. But he is. But I think it's his first start since coming off the DL. So
And rehab starts are all about, especially the first one, are all about how do you feel after it. So that's good. I mean, and that gets back to that starting pitch of depth that the Dodgers were talking about earlier in the year, So in case you guys don't know, you should be used to it now. This is Joshua Gershon. I'm Mike Conley. This is Dodgers Wrap 360. We've been chatting here every week here with your rudderless discussion on all things Dodgers. Josh, what's your Twitter handle, just in case people want to tweet us up?
mine is at Gersh13, just the first part of my name, GERSH13.
There you go. So hit them up on the Twitter if you want to steer our rudderless discussion in a different direction. We're always game for that, no doubt. So Stripling is a guy like where you have all these guys on the mend in the starting rotation, like we were saying. It seemed like to this point that, Stripling, just because of his lack of pedigree, and Wood, just because he's been pretty inconsistent up and down, probably be the most 2 likely to go. But Stripling was great again today.
He was great today.
He's showing no signs of running down.
6 innings, 1 hit, the 1 run, and it was a really manufactured run. I believe was it Pilar doubled today, and then they moved him over and scored on a ground out.
Right.
6 strikeouts, no walks. He looked great today.
Yeah, I mean it's nice to see, and so now it's like, and also I thought Maeda, even though he had the 4 walks and stuff, I do like him having the extra rest because you don't want him to burn out. You want him to be there at the end of the year when you need him. And if he's used to, like these Japanese pitchers are, pitching 1 day a week, I think you got to kind of try and keep him to that whenever you can. So this is what I propose, young Josh.
What is
and you
that?
let me know what you think of this.
Okay.
Is obviously the horse of the staff, Mr. Kershaw, pitches every 5th day. But then you kind of have this hybrid 6-man rotation where everybody else, there's 5 for 4 spots, and they just fill in whenever they can.
moving forward. So once McCarthy or Bolsinger comes back up,
Right.
I mean, I could see that.
I don't think I'm putting Bolsinger in for anybody right now, but McCarthy I would consider.
Yeah, because I mean, I like Bolsinger, but what, his fastball tops out at 91, maybe.
Right.
He worries me. I should say. I should put it that way.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I went to a couple games last year where he actually pitched really good, but he's always on the borderline of like getting hammered. Not just give up a run or two. He's like on the borderline of like, I got out of trouble. You know, I had 3 guys on base and somehow got out of trouble. Like, he's on that kind of borderline.
Yeah.
So he does worry me a little bit. McCarthy, I mean, the trouble is with McCarthy, we basically haven't seen him pitch in 2 years.
That's the thing. That's the thing. So I think, like, even with either one of those guys coming back off an injury, you do want to kind of monitor.
Yeah, you want to ease them in.
Exactly. Yeah. So if they pitch once every 8 days, that's a little better on the arms, I would say, than, once every 5. And, that helps. Not Stripling, who's obviously going to be monitored innings-wise, and Maeda, who should be.
Yeah.
And frankly, even Kazmir, who I don't really see throwing 200 in the innings this year, and we'll be lucky to get 175, 180 out of him.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So it's like...
It's just basically throwing in an extra guy just to help preserve the rest of the staff.
Exactly.
Because Kershaw's going to be Kershaw. And you couldn't convince him to not start every 5th game anyway. It's like, there's no way he would ever do that.
Plus, why would you do that?
Yeah.
I mean, you have the best player in baseball. You have a significant investment into him, and he's throwing the lights out.
Yeah.
I mean, he 10 Ks again.
10 Ks
like
again.
Not even his sharpest game.
No.
On Saturday, but he just finds a way to win. And Toronto is no joke of a lineup.
Oh no, that lineup is very potent.
So he does it. What did he go 7 innings and 2 runs, or is that what he did on Saturday?
Was it 7 or 6? I can't remember if it was 7 or 6 actually.
Let's take a look here.
But it was the 2 runs. He had the 6 hits, but the 10 strikeouts, no walks again.
I think he had 1 walk, right?
No, he had no walks.
No walks?
It's the 4.
10 walk. Yeah, that's right. He did go 7. Scattered 8 hits somehow. Yeah, so that's crazy. That's 4 straight of double digit.
Yeah, 4 straight games of at least 10 strikeouts and no walks. First pitcher since Nomo. Dodger pitcher since Nomo to do it. Now, and Nomo did it in 1995, which I believe was his rookie year.
Wait. Because he had, it's not 4 straight of... Because that 14-inning game, the 14K game last week, he had 1 walk, I believe. So I think it's 4 straight with double-digit Ks and 1 or less.
No, I'm positive it's 4 straight with none.
Really?
Yes.
Because I was reading some stuff where he was the first person to get 4 straight starts with double-digit Ks and 1 or less walks since last year, Strasburg. And then the last person to do that before Strasburg was like 1900.
Oh yeah, that had to do with run support.
Was that?
Yeah, I think it was something with the run support. I can't remember.
Interesting.
But
tweet at Gersh13 if you guys can bring this any clarity.
But he now has 64 strikeouts to 3 walks.
That's insane. That's 21? 21?
Yes, 21 to 1 ratio.
That's insane.
That is.
So he's going to set a record on that.
Oh, he's got to.
I mean, that's like Eckersley-esque, and he was when he was a closer.
Yeah.
That's like what he would do an entire season. He'd be like 60 versus 5, and everybody would be like amazed.
Oh, actually, you know what? You are right. It is the 4th straight start with at least 10 Ks, and that's the first pitcher, and he's the first Dodger pitcher to do so since Nomo in '95. Mm-hmm. You were correct.
I'll take it.
But 64 to 3. I mean, it's
unheard of. And he was saying the other day after the. This is why you gotta love this guy, because he's just so humble to go along with being so amazing. In his like post game, he's saying like, "Nah, wasn't really sharp today. Fastball come in, wasn't really where I want it, and all this stuff, and like it wasn't very good. So I had to kind of muddle through it a little bit." And he's holding one of the most explosive lineups in baseball to 2 runs over 7.
Yeah.
Like everybody would.
And still struck out 10 guys.
Yes, everybody would just kill.
And even
that
Dave
line.
Roberts after the game said he didn't have his sharpest stuff.
Right.
And it's like, well, it's hard to get much sharper than that.
Yeah. I got to think, the Skip's listening into Clayton's post, and he's just kind of reiterating what he says because, I mean, how can anybody tell from a dugout that guy isn't just throwing BBs?
Yeah, I know, seriously.
I mean, you can't trust the umpire. Oh, man. But what is exciting, because Kirsch has been there all year, and really, like, the starting pitching on a whole has been pretty good this year for them. Kazmir's had some rough ones, and so hasn't Wood. But I do think both those guys have turned a corner now, despite Wood giving up the 3 bombs. It just seems like every mistake he makes, even if he only makes 3, they're getting hit hard.
Yeah.
And they got put in the seats the other day. But I still want him in the rotation. But Ryu, that's kind of a little bit of a setback. He got moved over to the 16-day DL.
It's, and this was what I was worried about earlier. I said, is he just going to be hurt? Now, is this just who he is? Is he always going to be hurt? I mean, was he hurt originally? They said the shoulder problem he pitched with not last year before he went out for the year with the surgery, that he had the problem before in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That he already had the issue with his shoulder. But now it's not the shoulder anymore. Now it's the groin. Now he's having other problems now. It's not just the shoulder anymore.
Right.
So you got to wonder what's going on with him. And they're not very forthcoming with information about him either.
But I say be safe. I mean, like we say.
But he's only 26, 27, I believe.
Okay.
I believe he's only 27, actually. I think he's 27.
All right.
So, yeah.
If I had to guess, I would say 28, but I'll go with you on 27.
Yeah. So there is some leeway here to make sure he's fully healthy when he comes back.
And you should. Especially where you're not playing your best baseball, so you would think, and you're hovering around that 500 line, but it still puts you in the mix in that division around the lead.
Oh, yeah.
What are they, like, 1 game out right now?
Yeah, I think the Giants win today? I don't remember. I didn't see if they won today or not.
I do not know that.
But the Giants were only 1 game over 500, and Colorado was 1 game under 500. So, and then the Diamondbacks are in last place.
Right. Yeah. So they're still in the mix. And
even the Diamondbacks aren't that far out of it. Being in last.
It's very bunched up.
Yeah.
Very bunched up. One thing that was encouraging this week to hear, and we've been hearing about it every week because we talk about it every week because we see this kid and what he's doing down in Oklahoma City, and that's Carlos Urias.
Yes.
And it's like
Julio Urias.
Sorry. Yes. Julio Urias. Hello. Red Sox fan sitting in. But Urias is like, I mean, he threw like 6 innings of no-hit ball last week.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, he was that like Saturday or Friday or something. It seems like he has the stuff.
Yeah, and his ERA is only 1.88, I think, right now in AAA, and he's had 6 starts. I think something around there, 5-6 starts, and his ERA is 1.88. I mean, he's a lefty, throws hard.
Yeah.
There is talk about, Roberts himself said there's talk about moving him to the pen, to have him pitch out of the pen.
And that's what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
That's what we've been talking about. For as long as this show has been like going from half through the year last year. But that's because this kid's such a talent. We see you look at the blueprint in the National League, like the Cardinals, and they did stuff like that with Carlos Martinez.
Yeah.
And even Wainwright when he was coming
and
up.
even Waka. Didn't they bring Waka, I think, originally out of the bullpen? Yeah.
Same deal. So what I would like to see them do is, keep him down, and make sure this kid knows, like, we foresee you as a starter.
Yeah.
That's where your future is going to be with this team. And, keep him pitching that 5 or 6 innings, but don't lengthen him out because they're going to want to take care of his arm too. And it would be nice to have innings pitched towards the end of the year. Then you bring him up, September call-ups. You make him, in that mix. You throw him a 7th inning, an 8th inning now and again and see what he's got. It reminds me of the time in, I want to say it was 08 or 09, and David Price came up as a reliever after, like, I think maybe a year in AAA, much like Urias is doing, and like just came up and was, because nobody had a book on him really, nobody had actually seen him in the box. Of course, they have books on AAA guys, and he was lights out. He was incredible versus the Red Sox in that playoffs for the Rays.
Yeah. And that was that the World Series run?
I think that was they made it and got lost to the Phillies.
Yeah.
So, and he was a big reason why. And that's what they should do with Urias. I would bring him up at the September call-up, let him get his length down there, get a feel for being a starter. But, you know, you bring him up and you put him in some leverage situations for the big league club, but in September, you know, where it's not yet playoffs, see how he takes to it. And the kid's stuff is gonna, it's gonna translate.
I think so. I mean, I
really just comes at how's his head.
Yeah,
you know,
because he's 20, 21, 20, 21.
I don't even think he's 21 yet. I think he's 20. So, but it'd be nice to see.
It would. I mean, if they do call him up sooner, I still can't see it being before June. I do believe June is the arbitration clock for him, so he'd be under control till. Would he be if he comes up? I believe if he comes up in June, it's 2018 when he's eligible for arbitration, and then he's not eligible to be a free agent until like 2021, 2022, I believe, somewhere in that area.
It might even be 2019 where he's not up forever because I think they get like once because his clock really wouldn't start if they bring him up post June 1st. Till next season. So it was that whole thing that Chris Bryant went through. So I don't know too much of the particulars on that. We'll have to get a capologist or a GM here on a GM for the show.
It's the loophole in the union that they're trying to close now. Yeah. Or at least Scott Boras is trying to close that loophole.
Yes, I would say. I don't know if I really want that to close that loophole because. You know, it really helps some of the smaller market teams really compete. You know, look at a team like Tampa, and like that's how they're able to do it. It's like they lock up their guys and buy out their arbitration years and sign them a long-term deal so they stay in there.
They did it all those years ago with Longoria. They did that. Yeah,
exactly, and that's the only reason why he's still in Tampa.
Yeah,
and like that, they were able to hang on to Price for that long. Because of that same deal, and Matt Moore as well, and doing the same thing with Chris Archer. So, you know, you do want the teams to have an ability to keep their homegrown talent. So
and I'm not saying they shouldn't be paid properly. But they should be, you know, to be able to stay with the team that groomed them.
There should be some type of incentives or something that are just built into that thing that if guy has a ridiculous season he gets paid, you know. I mean these guys that are like going off the charts and they're freshmen and sophomore years and they're making like six figures. That's ludicrous.
It just reminds me of what's his name on the Heat, Whiteside, who's making $800,000 a year, and now is slated to probably make $20 million next year.
Well, that NBA is a different story altogether because their salary cap's set to jump next year and the year following too. So
but it just reminds me that's it. Like, but
I've even been working on my handle.
But if a guy does clearly outperform when they're on these rookie deals. There should be some kind of incentives to pay them.
Yeah, you would think, but hopefully it's a front office that realizes the bargain they got and, you know, buy them out of their arbitration a little earlier than they really maybe would. But
because now arbitration, I mean, guys are getting huge settlements for arbitration now, bigger than they ever were before. You know, now they're actually, you know, when they go to arbitration, they are getting market value for close to it anyway, for who they are.
Right.
So,
but the youngins that, you know, aren't even in arbitration yet, I mean, so like they're not even going to get that opportunity. So you just got to take care of them.
I mean, what if he comes in, pitches lights out, and then, you know, by 2019, he's not very good, and then he never really gets paid.
Well, that's the price you pay. You know, that second Rays game, the Dodgers were kind of back to earth and up to their own ways. They were 1 for 13 with runners in scoring position that game, and 9 left on base. So that was not a good showing. And the Rays, to get them, like the Rays haven't been scoring at all. To give up 8 to them, that wasn't good.
No,
you know, they had 4 bombs in that one too. 3 off
wood,
3 off wood. But like I say, he's pitched worse. Believe me. Okay? Dodger fans, you know, just look at some of his stats last season, some of his stats this season. He's pitched worse. But I'd like to see him get a few more because it seemed like he has been better the past couple starts.
He's been good at home. So, and it's funny because, you know, the Dodgers picked up Casey, how do you say his last name?
Fiend.
Casey Fiend, you know, off waivers from Minnesota, who was not very good with Minnesota.
He had 2 or 3 years where he was a serviceable reliever for them out of the pen.
He actually last year alone he had a 3.55 ERA with a 6-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, which isn't bad.
No, I mean it's really pretty good.
Yeah.
I think you come in a world where you're starting to measure everybody against Kershaw, so it doesn't look that good.
Oh no, for the Dodger bullpen, that's actually amazing.
Yeah. And it's like you talk all about the depth that we brought into the starting rotation at the beginning of the season, but it's good to have arms in that bullpen. Especially where guys have been up and down to this point. Hatcher, Baez, even though he's got that live arm, sometimes he leaves a few down the middle.
I always, actually, me and my friend always say Baez either comes in and strikes out the side, or he'll come in and give up 3-run home run. That's kind of where he is. You know who was like that too was Broxton. When they used to have Jonathan Broxton. If he came in and he threw strikes, he was going to be on his game and no problem. Strike out the side. If he came into the first guy and threw 3 balls, he was giving up a run. Yeah. Just every time.
I have a question for you, Josh. All right. Why do people continue to run on Yasiel Puig?
I don't know. And this was a former Dodger who ran ahead.
He's got to know the guy has a cannon.
There was a Darwin Barney, tried to stretch that.
That's a tough name for me. Darwin Barney, yes.
Tried to stretch that single, and Puig drilled him. I mean, it was funny. Puig didn't even pick up that ball cleanly. Yeah. And he still drilled him at second base.
He is just...
We said it last week. Why do people keep challenging his arm?
It's crazy. So now, I think he's tied in the NL for outfield assists with like Mate and Ryan Braun, I believe. I think he's got 4, but people are going to stop.
Yeah,
they have to. I mean, the guy, after that story throw, and after his, he's throwing bombs that are going right where you need them to go. That thrown out of Bonnie.
Oh man!
If it goes anywhere else, he's safe.
It was right where Seager's glove was, right where
in
the
front
glove
of the
was.
bag.
Yeah,
you can't waste that 0.6 seconds to catch that ball a little higher and bring it down. Otherwise, he's safe.
Yeah.
So it's right there, and that's why it's like this guy is so amazing. You have to just get him in there for defensive purposes alone.
Well,
and you can wait for his bat to come alive.
I think his bat will come alive. He's too good of a natural hitter for his bat to not come alive.
Yeah.
I think the problem is there's too many people who get in his head when it comes to him swinging. And I think sometimes he just, I know we don't like it because he likes to first pitch swing and do things like that, but sometimes you do have to let him trust his instincts a little bit.
Yes.
Just let him go off his instincts. The guy can hit. Let him hit a little bit.
Yeah. Referring to his, I don't know if Scully gave him this nickname when he first came up, the Wild Horse.
I think it was Vinny. Yes.
Yeah. You don't want to saddle those guys.
No.
You do want to let them kind of go off and then just.
And you have to live with the good and the bad.
Exactly.
That's kind of how it is.
Exactly.
Which speaking of last year, we had to live with the good and the bad of Jacques Peterson. This year, very quietly he's putting together a pretty fabulous season so far. Only a 275 average, but he had 3 home runs this week. He's slugging .563 for a guy who still has a high strikeout ratio too. Yeah, slugging .563, on base percentage of .379.
Yeah, and his on base percentage is about .500 over the past 2 weeks when he's been unconscious.
Yeah, and even the .379 is the highest on the team.
Yeah,
I think Grandal is next. He has like .373, I believe.
Yeah, and so that just goes to show that he is a little bit more plate discipline. This year, and he's going the other way. Yeah, which is great to see. But 275. You tell me Jock Peterson is hitting 275 at the end of the year. I am doing cartwheels on this very set.
Me too.
Because I was looking at him as more of a 250 guy that might go for 25, 30 bombs at the beginning of the season. But it's like, if he can hit 275...
And with 25 or 30 bombs by the end of the year?
That's huge. Playing solid defense in center. It's like almost just defensively, you just have to kind of roll with... Jock and Senna and Puig and Wright, and just make that a rotating left field.
And for defense, I do like Thompson in that left field defensively.
Me too.
Just for pure defense, Thompson isn't that bad with the bat, but
he's great with the bat.
But defensively, Thompson is their best other outfielder besides those two guys.
Right.
So.
And he's hit a little bit. In that first game in Tampa, he had 4 RBIs, a homer. He is hitting. So I definitely like to see him in the mix and see him a lot at left field. But that means like Kike, it's like way to put in. You know how much I love Kike. He's got to be in there versus lefties, definitely.
Or Kendrick. because they like. I mean, in all honesty, I think they're. I have to do the research on this. I'm sure there's research, but
Right.
I feel like when Utley leads off, they do score more runs. I feel
Right.
like Utley leading off at this point. Utley leading off is actually their best. I think he's their best leadoff hitter
That'll
right
be a
now.
nice little homework assignment for you for
Yes.
next week's program. And just like the little things that he does. To Utley's.
Oh, did you see that
the
play?
Dive.
The dive, to save Kershaw in that game. Oh yeah,
man. No, I thought that was today.
Was it
that today?
the great diving catch.
Great diving
Yeah.
catch, like over, and you can even see, like when you look at this, the home plate cam, you can see like Sega's just there, like he's kind of in disbelief, like, oh my god, how old is this guy?
Yeah, I did. That was a great play, and oh man,
Great play.
double play because the game was a hit and run. The guy took off.
It was huge.
I think you're right. I think that was today. That was a great play.
Today.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was a double play though. I thought it was just that either got him out of the inning or it made it 2 outs, and they were able to kind of hold the run up.
It was either way. It was a nice play.
Either way, it was a very nice play. But yeah, so I mean, taking 2 out of 3 from the Jays in Rogers Center, that's impressive, you know. And hopefully, this Dodgers team is not showing up like they're going to be only road warriors.
Yeah.
Because after that homestand and this, you know,
We got a long one coming. No days off
Yes.
on this homestand either.
yes, and it's a big one.
Yeah, we got the Mets for 4 games,
Mets
the
are
Cardinals for
playing
3,
great.
the Cardinals for 3, the Angels for 2 here, and then I believe 2 down
in
there.
Anaheim?
Yeah. With that's no breaks. That's no breaks till next Thursday.
Yeah. So have you? Now that you bring up the Angels, you know they're no longer the Anaheim Angels. They are the
Oh, they will always be the Anaheim Angels. Actually, they will always be the California Angels because I actually liked that name.
I did too. But now they call them the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, right?
Yes.
So isn't that loose? I took 4 years of Spanish, but all my professors would tell me I'm pretty bad. But doesn't that translate to the Angels of Anaheim?
You know, I would.
Did I just blow your mind?
You might have.
Any Spanish speakers out there, you can let us know if that translation's any good. Ask Gersh13.
I could ask my wife. She might know.
Oh, there you go. There you go. She's not on headset. She's a silent party today, you know. But yeah. So looking ahead, I mean, it'd be nice to get on some winning reins, but the Mets are playing some good ball.
The Mets
right
are
now.
tough, man. That pitching staff is so good. I mean, what is it? Mats is 1-4, but has a 2.3 ERA.
Sick.
I mean,
I think he might have got his second win the other day. But
I know he has a losing record with a 2.3 ERA. I mean, it's although who is it? Syndergaard and DeGrom actually got rocked around a little bit last week. Last week I know they got hit a little bit, and then
Syndergaard getting hit, it was still like 7 innings and 3 runs.
Yeah, it was like Kershaw getting hit.
Right.
You know, that's that's what he's becoming, the right-handed Kershaw, because he throws with. I know as good as Arrieta is, and Arrieta has been brilliant. When you watch Kershaw and you watch DeGrom or you watch Syndergaard, it's they have that overpowering throw, that just I think looks intimidating when you're staring back at it. Whereas Arrieta's approach isn't quite like that, but he is pitching lights out.
Yes. Yes. I'm wondering about, when you say Arrieta, and he is jacked, do you start thinking PEDs for him, where he had such a remarkable turnaround coming over from Baltimore?
We joked with my friends about that because, he was bad. He was their top prospect for years in Baltimore. And he was bad. He had a 5-something ERA. They moved him to the bullpen in Baltimore. He didn't seem to find it. All of a sudden, he comes to the Cubs, and he finds it in a season. Not even a season. In a summer, almost, he finds it. In a spring. In a winter and a spring, he finds it. It's a
little bit suspect.
Yeah, I think so. Much like Jose Bautista, who up until he hit his 40 bombs, he never hit more than 15.
Right.
Oh, he adjusted his swing. That was the story.
So, a little bit of a red flag there. We'll see. We don't want to digress. This is a Dodgers show, but the Dodgers, because we brought up PEDs, the Dodgers.
Oh, they suspended.
They did have a suspension.
Raven or
Raven.
Raven.
Yeah.
who hasn't been on the team in years.
Right. Maybe in order to try and make it, he took the wrong substance. You know, I mean, we talked about that a little bit last week. Like, with it only being an 80-game rip, it's like maybe it's worth it. You know, if you can get to the bigs and kind of make it happen.
Hey, I mean, it worked for. I mean, D. Gordon got his contract. Johnny Peralta got his contract. Melky Cabrera even got his contract. I mean,
I know.
It's you know, when you weigh the pros and cons, I'm set up for life. I may get banned for 80 games, but I'm set up for life. It doesn't look so bad.
It's true. It's true.
I mean, who among us? I might do it if that was my option. In fact, I could probably say I would do it if that were my option.
I mean, I think you can probably tell from the look of me, like, he probably guessed that I've already done it. Oh, but so yeah, looking ahead to the Mets series. Yeah, we got Mats and Casimir on tomorrow, Monday.
I'll be there tomorrow. Yeah.
Nice. All right, cheering them along. Now, who's Kershaw? Is he gonna go in this series? Will he go in that fourth game? He probably will.
He should. I mean, his normal rotation day would be that fourth game.
Oh yeah, give me a little bit more schedule here, people.
And he doesn't. He usually doesn't skip. Unless it's that where they get the day off. He doesn't skip rotation starts.
Right. Because I mean, if we can get him going up against
Cologne,
Syndergaard or DeGrom, I mean, Cologne. I mean,
who homered the other day.
Cologne is like, I mean, he's like kind of worth checking out. It's like a bucket list thing. I mean, the guy's like Foreman.
Yeah, when he came out last year in the playoffs, I was at the game with my father, and my father turns to me and says, "Looks like me going out there to pitch."
Right? Just get your dad set up with some PEDs. He can get out there.
But Cologne,
we'll have him out there by Father's Day.
Didn't Cologne pitch yesterday though? Which means wouldn't he kind of go in that game against Kershaw?
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah. The internet probably isn't what it should be here in the lovely AfterBuzz studios here in lovely North Hollywood, but they set us up in other ways. Look at this beautiful brick studio. Yeah,
I love this studio. I think it's amazing.
It's gorgeous. So even if they take 2 out of 4 and just like kind of hold serve, and then maybe can take.
The Cardinals aren't playing well, so
that's what we say.
Yeah.
Everybody says, but like when a good team doesn't play well, they're at about 500, and the Cardinals are out by about 500.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just in a good division where they're falling behind teams that are actually playing.
The Cubs don't lose.
The Cubs don't lose. The Pirates like ripped off 8 straight.
Yeah.
So like they're playing well too, but. I think the Cardinals are a little bit of a sleeping giant.
Well, what's funny, they're having trouble actually holding leads, which is usually not their issue.
Right.
I happened to be at a bar with my father on yesterday, waiting for the Kentucky Derby to start. So we watched the end of the Pirates. Well, the Dodgers were already over because they started.
Mad early.
They started very early. So we're watching the end of the Pirates Cardinals, and Rosenthal came in, promptly gave up 3 hits and the tying run.
Yeah.
And Rosenthal used to be lights out.
Yeah.
I mean, that 100-mile-an-hour fastball coming in, and it looks like throughout the season, they've had trouble holding leads. It's just their relief pitching is not as strong as it has been in the past.
Right. But as we've talked about with the Dodger bullpen, it's an up and down season, and we're trying to stay patient with them.
You can never count the Cardinals out. And besides, the Cardinals usually kick our butt. So
right. And the Cardinals could also be in that situation where, here it comes, it's September 1st, they're within striking distance of a playoff spot, and they bring up 2 flamethrowers to throw the 7th and 8th for them.
Yeah, exactly.
And exactly what the Dodgers should be doing with Urias.
Or with De Leon. De Leon, finally, he's pitched this week. Yeah. I think it's the first time he's pitched this season so far in the minors.
Yeah.
Pitched this week, so he's coming around too. They have Jarrell Cotton, another guy who they think they might bring up who's been pitching.
Right.
The Cuban kid is still in single A ball. I believe he's still in single A ball.
But if they keep him as a reliever, which I'd like to see them do, he could jump up and maybe even still help the team this year.
Which I think will happen, actually.
Yeah. I would like to see them maybe take that route with Urias, like we were saying, keep him as a starter for most of the AAA season, and then to really think about bringing him along. But I would keep, Cotton and De Leon still on that starter regime, because you don't know. As much as you think your depth is, these guys, Ryu could come back, be out in one start. Same thing with Brett Anderson, same thing with McCarthy. Who knows, Stripling could go down. So,
Well, Stripling, you may know, he might run out of gas.
That's what it is.
You know,
I mean, he gets to 140 innings.
Come September, he might not be able to pitch anymore, for all we know. You know,
Absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But it was a light week this week for the Dodgers. They only have 5 games, so hopefully they rested up and they can bring those bats back from the roll. Even a very hated person on this show, mostly out of my mouth, Kyle Crawford, I think had a couple 2-hit games
he
this
did,
week.
Surprisingly. Oh no, I share the Carl Crawford hate.
Yeah. Well, it's just because he's so old and makes so much, and like that left field is one of the only positions now, because we talk about our love for going Jock and Yasiel, to really kind of get those bats going. You know, and another reason why I think that you can, maybe do that thing with the pitches where you elongate after Kershaw and have 5. And it's because you can carry the 12 pitches or the 13 pitches because of the versatility on this team.
Yeah.
Between Kendrick and Utley and Kike, and even Austin Bonds when he's in the mix can play a little second base.
When it's like all those Vince Like had another setback, now he's going to be out for a while.
Probably mid-June they say on him. So, and really, there's so many guys I want to see in left field before I see Vince. Like I'd rather see Kike or Trace there. Before him. So, but. It's all about playing matchups and trying to get these guys at bats, but that's why Dave Roberts is making some good loot. Anything to say before we get out of Dodge?
No, I think that's about it. I actually think we'll see Casey Fiend.
Yeah, is he going to be?
I think he will be up with the team tomorrow. Yes,
okay,
I believe so.
I mean, and this is a guy that with Minnesota, he had like 3 straight years of pitching 60+ innings out of the pen and being serviceable.
He's a fly ball pitcher, which in Dodger Stadium can be a good thing because usually balls go to die in the outfield there. That's why you don't see too many home runs.
Right.
So.
He's being in a ravine.
Yeah. So maybe him being in Dodger Stadium, maybe that's what they're thinking. Fly ball pitcher, he's in Dodgers. And he goes against the NL West, aside from Colorado, not hitter-friendly parks.
Yeah. And anybody that doesn't cost you much, that is a bullpen piece and can be depth, bring them in, Dodgers. Competition breeds performance, right?
That is right.
Excellent. So, gang, I know this week we're in the 8 o'clock spot, but we'll be now in 9 o'clock Pacific starting next week and probably nestle into that pot for a little bit. And for those of you that kind of listen in with us live, we appreciate you. Rank us on the iTunes if you listen on that, or let us know on the YouTube if we're doing a good job, or just say hello. Or, you tweet Josh.
Yeah, you can tweet me.
Let him know. You give him a couple questions about what we should talk next week, or even if you're at the ball game, go and say hello to him. For Joshua Gershon, I am Mike Conley. This has been another edition of Dodgers Wrap 360. Thanks for sitting in with us, guys. Go Dodgers.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.